Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama and this is Winning in 48 PM or Less, and I have a pretty good one for you today. This is defending against the 3 pylon block in, and this is one variation of so many numerous variations that you can do. And the reason I actually like the 3 pylon block, I think there should be a neutral depot down there, but I actually like the 3 pylon block because it really changes the game up and it makes ZvP a lot more interesting. And just very, very different, right? So the protoss comes and walls you in, and now you have to react some way. Do you go all in? Do you, off of one base, do you macro hatch? Do you try and get drops? Do you try and nidus? I mean, what do you do? It just becomes a whole little, like, mind game, basically. And the game really changes its style up from the, usual just 3 bases, 8 minutes, build units, they push at 10 with their all in or whatever. I mean, it's, you know how ZvP goes. You've watched it before. And those games, of course, can be fun at times and have some exciting moments, but I just really love when it changes up all over the place. So the build that I'm going to be doing today, I don't even know if I want to tell you about it yet. I think I'm going to let you be surprised. I do send out my drone scout at 14. The reason I send this out is just so I can kind of prepare myself for what's going to be coming. So, of course, if I head over there and I see a gate right here, I should be starting to prepare. I'll get a gas down with my pool and then my hatch, and I can start to prepare for a 4-gate if that's going to happen, or I can start to prepare for a gate expand depending on what unit basically comes out. If I see, like, sentries popping out, then I'm not really going to be as worried about a 4-gate. And of course, I'd check in and see how much energy's on the Nexus, if he has 1 gas or 2. There's a lot of little things that you can just see with the scout. But here I'm just going to see it is a Forged Fast Expand, and that is good enough for me, so I'm going to leave. And this is going to be for people who like to take that hatchery at 16. Personally, I like to take my hatchery at 21. I like to go pool, and here's the block, right? So I like to go pool, and then drones, overlord at 16, and then lings, and then I go take my expand. It's just so you don't get all the pylon blocking and all that stuff as much. But this is for people who want to do 16 hatch off of that pool. So here's just something that I want to note. I'm actually going to be sending this drone away. Typically, I won't even bring this back. I will send this somewhere like hide in the smoke right here. This is going to be your key right here, and it was bad that I even brought it back, but my opponent, he is Masters, did not even really notice it. So what do I do here? I get a spine crawler. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. Second thing I will be doing is getting a queen, and then I should be taking my gases here as well. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to be teching up to fast layer and basically stockpiling my gas in this sense. And I'm also waiting to cancel this hatch until this cannon finishes. The reason for this is because I want the Protoss to invest as much money away from this as possible. So I'm going to sneak my drone around, and he's going to make it over here. And now I'm going to go build my 3rd base. And his probe's going to see this, right? And I'm also going to grab this Overlord here in a sec and send this Overlord over here to scout. And the reason, as I said before, why I want him to build this cannon, and sometimes we'll even reinforce, because right now, if he leaves at this cannon, I can do stuff. But here's the thing that I want to tell you about. With the other drone, I build another hatch over here, and I could even build it over here to be even more secretive. But I decided right here would be safe enough. So if he does not bring up the additional pylon and cannon, which sometimes they don't do, you can just take out these pylons right here. This will die, and then you can go and take your hatch. Notice I have not made any Zerglings yet, right? I really want you to note that. The only thing I made was this spine crawler right here, and now I'm going to get, I guess I spare my lair a little longer because I want to get the 2nd queen out. So I should have started that 2nd queen a tiny bit earlier, but not a huge deal. So what I'm doing here now is I'm spreading creep with this queen, so I can move the creep, my spine can start hitting, and like I said, if these 3 die off and there's nothing behind, then I'm totally fine. And I can just move out, take this hatch, take my 3rd, and I'll have a lot of drones right here, great saturation. I can transfer it over, and it'll actually be a pretty even game. So here we see he's dropped a cannon and a pylon, and here I'm going to move up this drone once again over here, kind of wait for his probe to go find it, and then I'm going to drop another hatch. In the meantime, this hatchery has finished up, so I'm going to get a queen here. I'm going to start droning. And as you can see, supplies, hey, you know what? I'm actually ahead in supplies right now because he's investing all of his money all around here, building up cannons and pylons, trying to keep me walled in, and I'm making it look like I want to come down. But because he did drop this pylon and this cannon here, I actually do not want to come down at this point. because that's just a lot. I mean, you can still, but a lot of times they'll put multiple cans up there, and it just takes so much to get out that's really not worth it. So I'm going to drop this hatch down here as soon as this probe knows, and this will hopefully instigate more pylons and cannons going down. In the meantime, I have my lair already halfway done. You can actually start your lair pretty darn quickly after, like, as soon as that second queen finishes, start your lair. So that's what I did. It's just my second queen is a little delayed, like I said, but that's fine. And then over here, I'm getting my gases as fast as I can, and with this queen, I'm just going to be getting drones out and then saturating these gases very quickly. Why? It is because I'm going to be going for mutaplay, as I'm sure you may have guessed it by now. If you cannot get this base up, do not go for mutas. One base mutas is just not good. It just doesn't really work. So if you can't get it up, I'd say don't worry about the mutaplay actually. And here I'm just going to be dropping my spire, as you can see right there. And once again I get up here, I see he's dropped cannons, and I'm going to cancel the drone and just move it away. Right? So now he has 2 cannons here and a pylon, a cannon here and a pylon, 4 cannons actually here and a pylon. I've actually just started moving my creep out a little bit because he's going to go ahead and start reinforcing over here. And in the meantime, I am just chilling, doing just fine, sitting on my 2 bases with 4 gas, which is all you need. Like I said, 1 base with gas isn't going to work. But if you go 2 bases with gas and you can get him to start dropping cannons and pylons over here, then you're golden. So like if I drop this hatch over here and he doesn't cannon pylon me, well then I can just start using these gases as well. So some protosses won't even scout for that 3rd base, but I intentionally tried to drag him along this whole time so he would start doing that. And now I'm going to get up a couple spine crawlers as well, just to be a little safe in case any pressure does come. He won't be able to really hit that pressure early because look at how much he's invested in the cannons and pylons, right? And now I have my spire up so I can start pumping out mutas, and I had 1,000 gas right there that I could spend on mutas, plus I'm mining on the 4 gas constantly. So I'm just going to start spending larva, and I should begin these soon. There we go. And just making sure I wasn't supply blocked, and now I can just start spending all my larva, getting these mutas out. And eventually he will scout this, as a Protoss player should do. There we go. So he's going to move the probe over, be like, hey, what's he doing? Oh, there's a whole base over here. But at this time, I already have my mutas out on the map, and now he's in a really tough situation, right? Because the Protoss player's invested all this money in cannons and everything away from his base. He doesn't even know I have mutas yet. He just knows I have a second base over here. And so he's not really going to be prepared for this, and you can just go in, and usually their gate army won't be very large. He'll have a handful of stalkers or sentries, but I mean, you have a ton of mutalisk, right? So I already have 13 mutas, 14 mutas, plus more on the way. And so now I can also even go ahead and take an additional base over here if I want. As you can see, I did block his 3rd base, but now I'm just going to move in with these mutalisks basically, and this is his army, right? So he has a handful of sentries, a robo. His gateways are just starting to finish up now, even if he warps in some stalkers, though. That is just way too many mutas for him, and he is going to be forced to GG out of the game. So that is a very easy and effective way to deal with getting cannon rushed right there. Or getting pylon blocked into a cannon rush, I should say. And like I said, I do this if I see that he goes for this block back here with the additional cannons and the pylon, so that, of course, my spine crawler won't be in range of it. If he does not go for that, though, I'll actually just pick off the wall, pick off those pylons, and then just go kill the cannon and just go down and drop a hatch here, and in the meantime, I'll have gone for Infestor Tech in my main. So I'll still be getting the double gas and the fast lair right there, but instead, I'll go ahead and get Infestor Tech. I'll get +1/1 for my lings, whatever, and then that just makes it a lot easier to just kind of drop your hatches out here, and then you have a ton of drones that you can just transfer down. You can macro up really easily, and it really just turns into more of a balanced game. Throw down some spines, and then you have really early infestors, which will just be saving up a ton of energy for if he does push over, then you can fungal growth his army. So that's going to be it for this game, and as you can see, it was quite easy to win right there off of the pylon block. I hope you guys learned something. My name is Mr. Llama, and I'll see you guys in the next video.